feels good to be back on a Suzuki for sure. You know, like I spent most of my childhood on a Suzuki, and a lot of people have many memories of me, you know, becoming an international star on a Yamaha. But I spent, you know, basically since I was on 80s, all the way through my first 2 years as a professional on a Suzuki, and then obviously my 1 year in 2009. So yeah, like each brand has a certain DNA within it, and whether you're talking back in my 80cc days or, you know, or my 22nd year as a professional, I think that, you know, you swing a leg over Suzuki and it feels very much like home and what you're used to. Right now, currently trying to figure out what I might do. I'd love to come back and do, you know, I call it Bercy, but I guess Paris, and then maybe Geneva or something like that. You know, so they're the two races that are big and the tracks are relatable. So yeah, anytime that you do that, you want to use it to your advantage and get ready for the new year in 2020. So right now, currently trying to figure out if we can logistically make all that possible, and I'd love to get back to Europe and do some Supercrosses. I think I would be more excited to go and jump on a 252 stroke and do the, what do they call it, the EMC or EXC or whatever it is, the 300 class at the GPs. A lot of guys that I did some racing in England when I was a kid, you know, and Bradley Anderson was the guy back then. You know, I remember, geez, what was that, 96, 97, I think it was, and Bradley was the guy. So, you know, we battled, and it's funny, I look at GPs and I look at, you know, some of the results, and he's winning those races, and I think it'd be fun to go and do that more than to go and race Tony, you know. So yeah, I don't know that GPs are in my near future, but I think being at a GP and maybe racing a 252 stroke or something would be a lot of fun. So no, I haven't signed just yet, but yeah, all intentions and purposes, the goal is to be on a Suzuki. Will it, you know, at what point, what team and what it'll look like, we'll figure out. But I'm excited. You know, I really enjoy the JGR family and company, and you know, we've made the move to Charlotte, and we really enjoy that. So at this point, no desire to go anywhere else. You know, I'd love to finish my career here at Suzuki, and obviously JGR is a big part of that. So I think, yeah, I think that it'd be safe to say that yeah, all stays pretty similar to what it was this year. To be honest with you, watching at motocross is easier than watching at Supercross. You know, Supercross is something that I really enjoy. Motocross, I'm on the fence. You know, like I enjoy it, I love it, I'm passionate about the sport, and I'm a fan. But I don't need to be out there at this point. You know, like I can enjoy just being a fan. But I might do some at the end of the year. So it's good to come out here. I'm not riding yet. I haven't started riding since my crash. So, but I'm going to ride here in the next 2 weeks. So if you probably asked me this question in 2 weeks, I probably have you know, probably my feeling of wanting to be out there riding would be a little higher. What is it about Supercross? I don't know the answer to that, to be honest, because, you know, like I think if it was as easy as just totally fully understanding it, I'd probably try to find whatever that is in something else and move on, you know, but I can't, and I just love it. I think that the intensity, the feeling of being amongst 50,000, 60,000 people is unbelievable, you know, and being elbow to elbow with 21 other guys, you know, going into a first turn or scrubbing a triple, like it just, there's this unique, very intense feeling that you get from Supercross that you just don't get from anything else. Supercross was always the dream, you know, like my trip to Europe. It's funny, I look back at it now and it's like my trip to Europe was always a stepping stone. It was always a way to get my name known on a world stage so that they would, you know, somebody would hopefully put their hand up and bring me to America, and that's how it worked. But honestly, like, I think that I would never do it any other way. You know, like I think what I learned in 1 year in Europe was such a something that you can't put a value on. Like, it was just so invaluable, and I learned a lot about life and living, as an 18-year-old kid that was fresh out of high school. I got to learn a lot, and I think that when you transition from Europe, and back then you didn't have iPhones, you had to use a paper map, and the currency it wasn't the euro, it was all different currencies and things like that. So I think that all those things that I had to learn about, and things that you take for granted and kind of like naive about living in Australia, when I came to America, and America was pretty easy. Everybody spoke my language. There was a dollar, like all these things that I was much more like what I was used to as a kid. So yeah, it was a great experience doing the GPs. I think that you never say never, and to say I would never go back to Europe or never go back to Australia would be kind of silly, I think. I think that life has a way of, right now this feels right. This is home. My kids are deep into school, and that is, that becomes more the priority at this point. My kids love soccer. Soccer's huge in Europe. Who knows, I love Barcelona. I love Italy. I say we move back there once, when the kids are good at soccer. But yeah, I would say right now, it's like, if I had to give an answer and be held to it, it's like it's home. Like, it really has. I think as my life is in two different phases. As a kid, I was an Australian, and that was my life, and then the world and life as I know it as an adult is America. So yeah, 3 children that are don't know any different. Yeah, so this is home.